So what should investors now focus on? For such a long time, we talked about the election, what that was going to do to the stock market, how that was going to affect the stock market. A lot of people called me up, nervous. Should we sell? And those that did, hopefully they didn't sell too much because the stock market had what we call the Trump bump, right? The Trump bump higher. We gave back some of that move higher, maybe a week and a half after. But we've managed to hold on to much of those gains that have now reached all-time gains, all-time new highs on the Dow, the S&P, the NASDAQ, and even the TSX. So what should we focus on going forward? Well, I think we have to focus on the markets again and focus on where we are, at what time of period or period of time we are at or we're in for the year. Where are we in terms of the calendar? And what are historical returns during this time of the calendar? First chart we have here shows the S&P 500 presidential cycle, year 4 monthly average returns, and it's a long-term chart. And you can clearly see for the last 100 years that the months of November and December during presidential election, markets move higher, significantly higher. And there's some talk that we could see maybe as much as 8% higher between now and the end of the year. I'd be happy with 3 to 5% higher. We know that the markets do well at this time of year, regardless if it's a presidential election or not. We have a chart showing you without a presidential election how markets fare. You can pull that one up next. And you'll see that November, December, and January, markets move higher. It is the best 3-month period for the markets in the calendar for the 12 months. And if you want to add in October, which comes in soft, but usually leaves the month on a positive note, then you could add October to the mix as well. So that's what I think we need to focus on. I know the market is slightly overvalued, perhaps, if you look at it on a PE multiple. I know a lot of stocks right now are moving higher, and we're starting to get a little bit nervous. How high can some of these tech names go? How high can some of the banks go? But I still believe there's a lot of good value out there in the markets on the S&P 500, TSX, the NASDAQ. I believe that if you're looking for good value, and if you're looking for value, and if they pay some dividends while you wait for that growth, I think that's always, and I've said this on the show many times, always the best recipe for success. So what to focus on? Focus on finding good value. Focus on the time of year that we're at. Focus on the holidays, the happy. People are spending money. The economy is surging forward. Retail sales are doing well. Consumer is spending, and that will be reflected in the economic data and in turn reflected in the stock market. And that's why we usually see the market move higher at this time of year.